Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. So that's, at least for the time being, just going to be SmackDown. I meant to watch Collision, but I did not end up tuning in. I do apologize for that. But as you can hear, I am not feeling 100%. So I'm just going to try to get through SmackDown. And we'll see how the rest of the week goes. So first up, we got a little recap of the Royal Rumble, which of course we gotta. Then we have a Jey Uso in-ring promo. He's going over there to talk to the WWE champion. Before that, he gives a little love to the crowd, saying, had a hell of a week, but I got all the love from you people and those in the back. I'm your 2025 Royal Rumble winner, and I'm here to pick a champion. On Monday, I had a talk with Gunther. It is only right that I come to SmackDown to face the guy with the WWE title. Cody Rhodes, please come out. So, of course, this brings out Cody Rhodes, and as Cody's theme song is still going, they have a little embrace in the middle of the ring. And Cody says, I know what you want to talk about tonight. Talking about us. Jey Uso responds, you know why I'm here. I'm here. I got two choices to make. I either can stand across from you at WrestleMania or stand next to you as World Heavyweight Champion. Cody responds, that's quite the choice to make. And I spoke to my doctor. I got so many issues I had to deal with. But the doc is the nice guy, but he's not WWE champion. And just so you know how proud I am of you winning the Rumble, I know it's your choice. This is your WrestleMania. But if you remember, we won Tag Team Gold together. We had libations together. And Jey, as much as you have this choice, I have to go to WrestleMania as well. We're going to have some fun tonight because it'll be the last time. And before he can continue, out comes Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga does its thing, which is, it ain't getting over. Then he shushes the crowd. Shh. Gives the mic to Jacob. Jacob says, yeah. Okay, so first off, Cody Rhodes, last year you took that title away from my family. And as of now, my family needs that title back. And secondly, Jey Uso, big cousin, so they're not brothers, really. You're the 2025 Rumble winner. But don't get this twisted. If there's anyone that's going to bring the WWE title back to the family, it's not going to be you. So Jey looks a little distraught, bounces back, big old super kick to Tama Tonga, and they just end up brawling. And then we see Jacob Fatu just beating down Cody Rhodes. Jey with a super kick. Cody with a Cody cutter. Double clothesline over the top rope to finish the segment. I love how they have Jacob near the top of the card. He's going to have a breakout moment sooner or later. And I can't wait. Next, we see Naomi and Bianca Belair. They're walking to the back for our next match and our first of I want to say it's 3 Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. So we got Piper Niven taking on Bianca Belair. Bianca attempts the KOD almost off the bat. Piper is too strong. They trade shoulder tackles for a little bit. And Piper grabs Bianca by the ponytail, drags her back in the ring. Bianca fights back a little bit. Low bridge to the outside. Drop kick. And Bianca forces Niven into the apron. Gets back in, hits a big old crossbody. And then a senton. Goes for the KOD again, but that gets blocked. Niven then with a headbutt. Executes a beautiful boss man slam for only a 2. Bianca returns with a spear for only a 2. Piper Niven attempts a Vader bomb. That gets blocked. Bianca has Piper on the top rope. Goes for the KOD. Couldn't hold her weight. Niven with a Uranagi. And a Vader bomb. Only for a 2. Piper attempting a scoop slam. Bianca slides out the back. Hits the KOD to win. I was kind of hoping Bianca would do something with the tag titles. Because it's definitely been a while since those have been defended. But I am happy she has made the Elimination Chamber. So then we... Excuse me. Then we see Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. It's revealed that they have been moved to SmackDown. So then Carmelo Hayes walks in. Carter and Chance walk out. Hayes says to Nick Aldis, "Unless you're putting me in the chamber, we're good." So Aldis replies, "I've talked to Adam Pearce over on Raw. You're going to be facing a Raw star tonight." Carmelo Hayes at first is like, No. I know what you're trying to do here." He goes to walk off. Then we hear a light at the door. Who comes in? It's Akira Tozawa. We'll get to him in a minute. So, then Hayes walks back in and says, "Alright, I didn't know this is what you had in mind." Then Tozawa gets right into Hayes' face, says, "You got a problem?" So, that's going to be an interesting match we'll get to in a bit. Then we have our first teaser for the A&E competition show. I guess it's what's going to be. It's going to be Legends and Future Greats. So it's from what I've seen, it's going to be like the same setup as the original NXT, the game show version. But it's not going to be the game show. It's going to be like wrestling centered, which is always good. We'll see if I watch that. I'm not sure. And then we get a promo from DIY. They're in the ring with Ciampa saying, "How about give it up for your two-time WWE Tag Team Champions? We beat the Guns on Saturday twice at the Royal Rumble. We can gladly call ourselves the best team in the world. And it's safe to say that the chances of the Guns holding the tag team titles again are dead." Gargano chimes in saying, "There's nothing but respect for them. They were our favorite team growing up." And then Ciampa says, "Alright, let's get everyone out of their seat. take your hats off, bow your heads for a moment of silence for the Motor City Machine Guns. They start the moment of silence. Pretty Deadly's music hit. They come out with Prince saying, "Wow, what a lovely sentiment. But was important to us to come out here and remind you that we helped you keep those titles for as long as you have." Then DIY and Pretty Deadly start yelling at each other for a minute. Out walks Nick Aldis, who says, "DIY, I'm tired of what you've pulled. So you got no leverage in what's going on here. So we're going to do Pretty Deadly versus DIY for a shot at the tag team titles." And you see Ciampa and Gargano saying, next week, tonight. And that match will start right now. So we get a little commercial break. We come back to a non-title contest between DIY, who's still in their street clothes. They didn't go back and change, taking on Pretty Deadly. And honestly, this was a fun little matchup. Wasn't super long, but I didn't really need it to be. But it was definitely a fun little matchup with I think it was Elton Prince hitting the roll-up on Johnny Gargano for the win for Pretty Deadly. So, we'll see about the tag team title match. I do hope it's on pay-per-view again because the last one was really, really good. But I wouldn't mind it on seeing it on SmackDown in a week or so. So then we see highlights of Alexa Bliss returning in the Royal Rumble and announcing she's going to be on SmackDown going forward, which I am all for. So then we see Miz and Andrade in the back, with Miz trying to convince Andrade to team up. Andrade's like, And then in walks Cody Rhodes, of all people, with Miz telling Cody, "Those young guns got no respect for guys like us, so don't you worry, I will always have your back." Cody then turns to the Miz with the most inquisitive look on his face, saying, "I thank you for the offer, Miz, but I don't need you watching my back." And Miz chimes in, "Last year at WrestleMania, it was your story to finish. This year, it's clearly Jay's. What if Jay chooses you?" Jay versus Cody would be a hell of a story. So then Miz walks off. You see Cody kind of turn his head a little. Then we get another recap of John Cena at the Royal Rumble presser, announcing his entrance into the Elimination Chamber, in which I guess we gotta do that because he's off filming movies, so it is what it is. We now move to Elimination Chamber qualifying match number 2. We got LA Knight. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Taking on Jimmy Uso, taking on Drew McIntyre. But before we get started, Drew comes out first. He's got a microphone in his hand. And he says, "Screw Raw, I'm back here on SmackDown where I belong. In the Rumble, after I was eliminated, I was very angry. I slept in my own bed that night, woke up. I looked in the mirror and said, 'Drew, look at how jacked and handsome you are.' And then I realized I was a product of my own environment. And that bald Diddy Pierce had no idea what he was doing. Then I got a call from Nick Aldis. He wanted me to join SmackDown. So, Cody, I'm here for you. Well, I'm not here for you specifically, but I'm here for what you got. I'm here for the WWE title. Next man out is Jimmy Uso. He has a mic saying, "You're coming out here sounding like an ex-girlfriend. You lost and you are out here acting like you don't have to earn your spot. It's okay. This is Drew now. It's okay, Jimmy. You both are the same in every way. But you would be in Jay's spot if you said yeet first." Jimmy then says, I could say yeet right now. Does the yeet taunt. Jimmy continues, "Tonight, I gotta cash my ticket to WrestleMania, but you gotta get by me first. I'm not living in the past. I'm here in the present, ready to kick your ass." So this brings out the last participant on the match, LA Knight. And he says, "I gotta get to this. Jimmy, there's no love from you, but I'm not gonna go around complaining about it. In my life, I want to affect good change before I die." And then the most wholesome thing I've ever heard from a wrestling show, saying, right to the camera, saying, "If something comes up in life that makes you cry, let it out. It'll be good for your mental health, and real men cry." I did not see that PSA coming. Thank you, LA Knight. I got some more respect for you, man. Then he goes right back to his character, saying, "But there is a line where it becomes too much. And there's three things that are always there in life: death, taxes, and Drew McIntyre crying." And now that I got this silliness out of the way, I'm talking me giving something for you to cry about. And then Knight throws away the microphone, gets in the ring, and we are off to the races. This felt like less of a wrestling match, more of a brawl. Everyone got some good stuff in, including LA Knight countering a Samoan drop, Jimmy countering a PFT, and then Drew hitting a big old spine buster for a 2. Drew then sets up for the Claymore. That gets countered immediately by Jimmy, who hits Drew with a super kick. And he goes up, hits an Uso splash, but only gets a 2 count because Drew dragged the referee to the outside. Drew gets back in, gets hit with a bunch of stuff, including a super kick and an Uso splash. But actually, Drew counters it to get his knees up. Hits a roll up on Jimmy, only gets a 2. Knight goes for a BFT, that gets countered right into a Claymore for Drew to pick up the win and qualify for the Chamber. That was definitely a best match of the night. A lot of dynamic going through it. And then the PSA right at the beginning. I was not expecting that. Anyway, excuse me. Then we go backstage for an interview with Damian Priest. saying, I'm having a great day today. I'm going to be in the chamber. And I'm going to eliminate Drew when I get in there. Braun Strowman then walks in, says, you got to qualify first in the ring with two of the biggest and the best. Now, you and me, we both got our WrestleMania moments. But if I beat you and go to the chamber, not just in the ring with a wild animal, but also a monster. They stare down for a minute, and then Priest says, I'm not overlooking anyone. So, yeah, definitely a short yet sweet setup for another Elimination Chamber qualifier. That should be a fun one. Then we get highlights from Raw's main event, including Kevin Owens hitting a package pile driver on Sami Zayn after the match. We then get a Kevin Owens car promo where he's sitting in the front seat of his car and he's got either Instagram or TikTok open, and he says, I've been through a lot. I haven't been through what we did Saturday. The pain I felt all week probably isn't going away, but it's all your fault, Sammy. You stood there and watched while Cody tried to end my career. But I'm seeing in the Rumble that you aided Roman. For me, you did nothing. You're a horrible friend. I'll never forgive you. You're gonna pay. So, yeah, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn feud. I'm in. I'm down. We then get a medical update for Sami Zayn, saying he's going to be out indefinitely. I do not remember what the injury is, but it's going to be interesting. We then get highlights of ISHO Speed's time in the Rumble, which sets up this next matchup, as we got Akira Tozawa taking on Carmelo Hayes. And Hayes comes out with a microphone, says, Hey Tozawa, I'm not talking about hairballs. But when I shoot, I don't miss. And that's the biggest difference between me and Ja. If there was an all-star game, I'd be picked. And before the bell even rings, Tozawa attacks Hayes from behind. Everyone gets back up into the ring. Bell rings. And we are off to the races. And this was another fun matchup. Especially by these two underrated guys. And yeah, this was crazy, including Hayes attempting a powerbomb, but midair, Tozawa hits a big old Hurricane Rana, gets a tornado DDT in, only gets a 2, attempts his top rope senton, he whiffs. Hayes with that arm takedown, I don't even know what to call it. Like, it's not quite a DDT, but he uses the arm instead. I don't know. It's weird. Hayes only gets a 2 count out of that. Eventually, Hayes does hit that powerbomb, but only gets a 2. Hayes tries for a suplex that gets blocked into a roll-up for a 2 count. Hayes with a flying DDT, basically springboarding off the ropes straight down, which is a great move, and then hits nothing but net to pick up the win. Hayes definitely needs some more wins under his belt. Hopefully we get something a bit more significant down the road. And we get some more highlights from the Royal Rumble. This time, the Punk Seth Roman elimination and then ringside brawl, which was absolutely crazy. Then we see R-Truth. He's holding up Akira Tozawa, takes a couple steps. He said, "Hey, Jay," and then just drops Tozawa to the ground. Truth then goes over to Jay, says, "Remember, never give up, Jay." And then he says, "Congratulations on your King of the Ring win." Jay then says, "Royal Rumble win." Then Cody walks in saying, "You're ready? You make your choice for WrestleMania?" Jay says, "I'd like to face you, but I've still got some beef with Cody. I'm still undecided," and walks off. And then Cody gives a little inquisitive look, like he's got something coming. Woo. Excuse me. And then we get a Charlotte Flair promo in which she was definitely received way better here on SmackDown than she was on Raw, which isn't that funny. And Charlotte actually acknowledges it, saying, "What's it going to be tonight? Do you love me?" As definitely some cheers. "Or do you hate me?" There's definitely some boos going on in there, but not as much as the cheering. Charlotte continues, "When you boo, all I hear is money. I live rent-free in everyone's head, and wrestling is my obsession. And I know what you're thinking. I'm only say I'm better because of my last name, but I've been out 14 months and not make history. I entered with 29 unserious women. I punched my ticket to WrestleMania, and I wanted to feel inspired. I went over to Raw, talked to Rhea. I went to NXT to see if Julia was game. And now I'm here on SmackDown to see if Tiffany..." And at that point, Tiffany Stratton comes out. She gets right in the ring, right into the face of Charlotte Flair, saying, "I just want to say congratulations and welcome back. No one is a bigger Flair fan than me. And everyone thought WWE couldn't survive without you. People cared about you for like a day. And WWE is as hot as it's ever been. And I'm on top of the mountain." Charlotte then replies, "Did you say something?" "You speak when I say you speak. And there's been multiple other women claiming to be on top. Why don't you get in line?" Tiffany then responds, "You need to pick me at my first WrestleMania, and then I beat you. I'm not the next Charlotte. I'm the first Tiffany." Charlotte then replies, "I saw nothing but a kid in Rhea on Monday. I stand here and I see a child begging me to make her a star. So I want you to do something for me. I want you to get on your hands and knees and beg me to choose you." But before that happens, out comes Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, with Nia saying, "That's a little bit premature there, Charlotte. You'll definitely be champion again, but you're facing one person next week. That's right, Tiffany. We're going one-on-one for the title that you stole. And you gotta get to WrestleMania through me." This brings out Candice LeRae's opponent for the evening, Alexa Bliss, who gets a big welcome back as we get our next Elimination Chamber qualifying match as Candice LeRae takes on Alexa Bliss. And at first, it's a little bit more even than I would have liked. But eventually, Candice locks Alexa Bliss in a bow and arrow submission. Bliss eventually gets out. She teases the sister Abigail. But Candice counters it. Alexa Bliss fights back, including with some headbutts. Candice with a flatliner right onto the apron. Slides her back in, hits her with a double knee, jawbreaker, and a code breaker, only for a 2 count. And after a big drop kick by Candice, the screen kind of goes funny. It glitches a little. And if you don't know, Wyatt Six are now on SmackDown. There's some teases of having Little Miss Bliss join them. Alexa Bliss fights back with a roll-up, only gets a 2. Then she hits the Abigail DDT, which is interesting variation on the sister Abigail. And it's straight down instead of a swing, which is interesting for Alexa Bliss to get the win. That was a very, very fun match. Maybe a little ring rust for Alexa Bliss. It has been 2 years since she's been wrestling. So, yeah, that wasn't a bad match from Little Miss Bliss. Anyway, next we have a Chelsea Green interview who says, it's not going to be if I win the chamber, it's a when. And when I win the chamber, I'm going to sail off to WrestleMania and become a double champion. This brings in B-Fab and Mi Jin. I want to say it was Mi Jin saying this. I really couldn't tell. But she said, well, you could be going into the chamber without a title. Let's see how it does. They walk off. Zelina Vega walks in and says, now that I'm on SmackDown, shouldn't I get a shot at that title? And she walks a different way, kind of like down a hallway behind them. And Green says, what the heck is going on here? I told you we need more security. So, definitely interesting setup for the Women's United States title division. We'll see what goes on from there. We then get a Street Profits video package. Definitely ready to see them get back in the ring. And then we get an interview from the Motor City Machine Guns, with Shelly saying, we have a chance to process everything. DIY, we had you beat. Then the Profits stuck their nose where it didn't belong. In walks Los Garzas. So it's Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, saying, you gotta let this go. You lost. It's time for a new team to step up. Then Sabin says to them, well, you two bailed on our match because you couldn't take the heat. Then in walks Santos Escobar, gets right into the Gun's face, says, I understand your frustration. The Street Profits started this mess and left everyone frustrated. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. So it looks like we're getting Los Garzas versus the Guns again in the near future. Then we get this weird Damian Priest hype video, which is like so out of the blue. But then we get our main event, as we got main event Jey Uso teaming with WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, taking on Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. And this match had it all. This was pretty much a Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Jacob Fatu, even Tama Tonga, greatest hits. It definitely felt like a war between these four. One point we had Jacob Fatu going for a Samoan drop, gets blocked. Clotheslines over, double down clothesline. Jay and Tama tag in. Actually, no, it's Cody. With Cody getting a big old power slam, a disaster kick, hits a couple uppercuts, goes for the Cody cutter. Jacob kicks out at 1. Cody attempts a crossroads, but that gets blocked. Jacob tags Tama in. Goes for a splash, misses. Cody with a roll-up for a 2. Tama Tonga with a massive flatliner. Cody goes up top. I guess he was attempting a moonsault, but Jacob Fatu gets up, pushes Cody off the top rope, right into a sheer drop DDT from Tama Tonga. That only gets a 2 count. Then Jacob gets in, hits a super kick on Cody. Jay then takes out Jacob, hitting a super kick and a dive, which sends Jacob over the announce table, with Cody Rhodes hitting the crossroads to pick up the win for his team. And as Cody's down on the ground, he's looking to celebrate. We got a hooded figure coming in, and it's a Samoan spike on Cody. It is revealed to be Solo Sikoa, who is back. I am definitely excited to see what we do with Solo. Although I do kind of wish it wasn't against Cody. Maybe this is the pre-set we're going to get for a Jacob Fatu Solo Sikoa program. Either way, I'm pretty excited. SmackDown was okay, to say the least. There was definitely some good action. Good setup for future stuff, although a lot of stuff we've seen before. But it was still pretty entertaining. So, gonna be an interesting week this week, because obviously we got Raw a little later tonight. Tomorrow is gonna be NWA Power at like 6:05 on X, aka Twitter. But then on is it TNT or TBS? I think it's on TBS at 8. It's going to be AEW Dynamite. Reason for that, they're going to be traveling to Australia this week with a special going on Saturday. So, also they might have got bumped for some NBA thing or something. So, yeah. Tune into all that. We'll cover that on Friday. Might do a predictions video on Wednesday. We'll see how I feel. As you can tell, I'm still not 100%, but I'm getting there. So hopefully you all tune in for that. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.